What's going on with all my billionaires out there? This the guy Hoods Billionaire. Welcome to Hoods Billionaire TV. Big favor, big abundance. On today's episode, we're gonna be talking about Bruno Mars allegedly owing $50 million to MGM Casino. Let's talk about it. So the great, the legendary Bruno Mars, hell of a musician right off the bat, right? Like Bruno Mars is one of those ones during this time span that has just amassed a following of people that love his music. I mean, from turning down the Super Bowl to just a lot of different world tours. He's just a hell of a musician. But you know, just like a lot of musicians, just like a lot of people in general, right? They have their vices, and his seems like it's gambling. So it was reported that he owed MGM Casino $50 million. Now he has a residency at this very same casino. If you're not familiar with what a residency is when they get a artist they sign them to a typically like a year deal where they actually come and stay and reside in Las Vegas, and they do a certain amount of shows for a certain amount of money per show, right? So a lot of top tier artists do residencies all the time in Las Vegas. Bruno Mars is doing a residency with MGM, and it's reported that they paying him $90 million a year. So even if he is 50 M's in the hole, he can pay that back. It's not really a big thing. Not to mention any other shows that he has outside of that $90 million for that residency, right? So he making money, right? That's not the issue there. The biggest thing here is MGM reported, and they downplayed it and said, no, that's not accurate, and you know, they blowing that out of proportion. And in all honesty, I like how MGM handled that. If you're dealing with one of the top artists in the world, if he does have any type of gambling issues, not exposing those to the world is only going to make him appreciate that work relationship that y'all have more, right? Because you kept his situation private and didn't speak it all over to the media and the gossip blogs and things of that nature. So they did right by Bruno Mars by downplaying it. He might owe $50 million. We don't know, you know, it could be more, it could be less, but when guys like that gamble like that, it's more for the thrill, right? When you've amassed a certain amount of money, there comes a certain amount of comfort that comes with that, where a lot of people, they just want to feel something. Because if you're not feeling the hunger of wanting to be financially successful anymore, there's something that has to get your adrenaline going. And you see that with a lot of guys. You know, we see it with sports, basketball, NFL, rappers, you know, pop stars. It's not just Bruno Mars. A lot of guys, you know, gamble a lot. I love AI. I remember when they was covering AI during when he was having his financial issues, they said that he would just blow, I mean, crazy amounts of money, $1 million in a weekend at the casinos. And we're talking about a guy who amassed maybe $250 million over his basketball career. So anybody can be broken from Vegas. You're not gonna break Vegas. Vegas gonna break you. But with somebody like Bruno Mars in his situation, because his earning potential is so high, even if he did owe $50 million, he has multiple ways to pay it back. He can just do a few shows, well, not even a few shows. I mean, just do some shows for MGM until he pay it back, right? They probably won't even take him a year. 6 months of doing shows, bam, they shot $50 million right there. They'll probably write off the rest. Or if he just want to pay him the $50 million, because if you get $90 million just from the residency at MGM, then with your shows and touring and you know, advertisement and all of that stuff, your endorsement deals that you get, you probably doing 150 something like that a year. After taxes, what's that, 75 M's? So I mean, what you taking home, about 75, 80 M's a year? I mean, that's pretty good, you know what I mean? So he can pay it off that way if he doing it that way. So it really don't matter. But the biggest thing here is just when you're gambling, or just like any vice, right? It does not discriminate. It does not matter how much money you have. Yes, Bruno Mars is in a good situation where he can get rid of his debts probably faster than the average person can. But you know, if you're spending more than what you have in regards to gambling, if you're not setting aside the money that you know you can lose, then you shouldn't be gambling. Anytime you out here gambling and you hurting yourself, you hurting your finances, you putting yourself deeper in the hole, that's gonna take a regular person a lot longer to recover from. So my advice, just like with drinking, just like with anything, if you're gambling, do it responsibly. Right? Just do it responsibly, especially when you messing with Vegas. I'm not talking about hood gambling. It's a difference. So people like Bruno Mars and, you know, Michael Jordan and those guys, they like top tier gambling, going to the best casinos, poker, blackjack, whatever their vice is. And I'm talking about winning big. Then you got your gambling like your little babies and the Migos and, you know, guys like that be doing Pee-wee Longway, where they just shooting dice on wherever they at. You know, they'll just break out a dice game anywhere, which I'm very familiar with, because when I was in high school, we would do the same thing. Literally, dice game could break out anywhere, anytime, in the bathroom, lunch, you know, anytime. So I'm familiar with that, just dice game breakout at any time culture. And it's a difference, right? With those are just as unsafe in regards to your safety, right? But when you dealing with the big boy casinos, they can hit your pockets more. So all in all, like I said, just if you gamble, only gamble what you can afford to lose. This is a situation where Bruno Mars, I'm sure he'll bounce back from. This is not, I mean, like I said, it's just his earning potential is so high. 50 million is easy for him to work off. I just feel like that whether he works it off or pays it off, he can get it worked off or paid off as fast as he wants to, even after taxes. You know, not to mention what he probably already got stashed now, not to count nobody pockets, but that's just easy for him to take care of. But do I think he should keep running up $50 million tabs at the casinos? No, I don't think he should do that. I think the same rules that I'm applying to everybody else would apply to him also as well. You know, make sure you spending what you can lose, even if they are paying you $90 million a year just for a 1-year residency. You know, make sure you're not giving it all back to them and some, right? Now you're just working for free, which I'm sure they comping everything. He ain't paying for nothing, but still, you know. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. What y'all think about that? 50 million in the hole. Did MGM do right by downplaying it? What's the best way to make sure that you don't go too overboard with your losses? Y'all let me know in the comments. This the guy who's billionaire, big favor, big abundance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. This the guy who's billionaire, big favor, big abundance. I'm gone.